In this class, we will try to learn what is hemostasis. In this class, we shall try to uh, learn what is how to define hemostasis and list the major steps of hemostasis, appreciate the principle of temporary hemostasis, understand the role of platelets in temporary hemostatic plug formation, list the steps of thrombopoiesis and briefly describe the regulation of thrombopoiesis, outline the structure, that is cytoskeletal system and granules of platelet, and correlate the structure with the platelet function. Appreciate the properties of platelet, especially platelet adhesion, aggregation, and release reaction, and correlate the properties with functions of platelets. Hemostasis can be defined as a process of arrest of bleeding while maintaining the blood in a fluid state within the vascular system. Hemostasis is the mechanism by which loss of blood from vascular system is prevented by complex interaction of vessel wall, platelet, and plasma proteins. So this happens broadly in two stages, that is primary and secondary hemostasis. Primary hemostasis is the initial stage during which the vascular wall and platelet interact to limit the blood loss from the damaged vessels. So this is also called as temporary hemostasis, as a platelet plug alone can't help bleeding or longer duration. Secondary hemostasis is a stable fibrin clot which is formed from the clotting factors by enzymatic reactions. So this is also called as definitive hemostasis, as formation of the clot in the vicinity of platelet plug finally stops bleeding. Although formation of blood clots is needed to arrest the blood loss, ultimately blood clot needs to be dissolved to resume the normal blood flow, and the process of dissolution of clot is called as fibrinolysis. Bleeding occurs when blood vessels are damaged. The vascular injury initiates the series of events in sequence that finally forms a clot at the site of injury and prevents loss of blood from the body. So, thus, hemostasis is a life saving process that maintains hemostasis of blood volume. The steps of hemostasis are three stages. First is vasoconstriction, second one is temporary hemostatic plug formation, and third one is blood coagulation. So this is the schematic diagram of mechanism of hemostasis. When there is a vascular injury, so there will be initially mechanical vasoconstriction. Uh, so that causes that helps in the formation of the temporary hemostasis. So the second, there will be collagen exposure, so that activates the platelet adhesion and activation. So the activated platelets, they will release many substances, so that causes chemical vasoconstriction, and that also leads to temporary hemostatic plug formation that forms the temporary hemostasis. Whereas there will be also release of tissue thromboplastin, activation of the clotting mechanism that forms the a definitive hemostatic plug formation. So that helps in formation of the permanent or definitive hemostatic plug. Vasoconstriction is the immediate response of blood vessels to injury. Vasoconstriction occurs due to the contraction of the vascular smooth muscle in response to injury. Instantaneous that instantaneously stops the blood loss and also facilitate the platelet plug formation. Contraction of vascular smooth muscle to injury is initially mechanical response, that is stretch induced muscular contraction. However, later vasoconstriction is maintained and potentiated by the secretion of vasoconstrictor substances like serotonin from the activated platelets. Formation of the platelet plug at the site of injury is called as formation of the temporary hemostatic plug. This occurs due to the three properties of platelets, that is adhesion, aggregation, and release reaction, that is secretion. The initial response of platelet to vascular injury is the change in the shape of platelets and its increased surface adhesiveness to the injured vascular endothelium. So this process is called as adhesion. Platelets also stick to each other, that is aggregation, at the site of injury. So this is called as aggregation. Simultaneously, platelets are also activated to release or secrete a number of chemicals, which is called as release reaction or secretion, that further facilitates vasoconstriction, adhesion, and aggregation. The whole process finally results in formation of the platelet plug that arrests the bleeding temporarily. As platelet plug is not stable one, so this plug is called as temporary hemostatic plug or primary hemostatic plug. And the process is called as temporary hemostasis. This is also called as primary hemostasis as this is the first step in the hemostasis that occurs very quickly and stops bleeding instantaneously. Immediately following the injury, the clotting mechanism of the blood initiated. So, this results in the formation of the blood clot at the site of injury that stops bleeding. The formation of blood clot occurs in and around the platelet plug, and the plug is formed is a stable one. Therefore, this plug is called as definitive hemostatic plug or secondary hemostatic plug. So the process is called as secondary hemostasis as this step follows the primary hemostasis. Blood coagulation is initiated by the vessel injury that releases the tissue factors and exposes the collagen of the vessel wall. Okay, so this diagram showing the different steps of hemostasis. Initially, the platelet adhesion, platelet aggregation, and secretion, so which helps in the formation of the primary hemostatic plug, and then the coagulation mechanism converts fibrinogen into fibrin. Okay, so that forms the definitive secondary plug. Okay, so which prevents the bleeding, excessive bleeding. Thrombopoiesis is development of platelets in the bone marrow. It is called as thrombopoiesis or thrombocytopiosis. The platelets are the smallest formed elements of the blood. They are anuclear fragments of megakaryocytes. Megakaryocytes are the giant cells in the bone marrow. So these are the different steps of thrombopoiesis. From the pluripotent stem cells, committed stem cells are derived. So then they will form colony forming unit mega. They are going to in turn going to lead to megakaryoblast, then promegakaryocyte, granular megakaryocyte, mature megakaryocytes. Okay, and the fragmentation of the mature megakaryocytes is going to lead to platelets. Sometimes one mature megakaryocyte can lead up to formation of the 300 2000 platelets, 2000 to 4000 platelets. The thrombopoiesis can occur in three broad steps, that is formation of the megakaryocyte from hemopoietic stem cell, uh, committed stem cells and CFU mega. Megakaryopoiesis, this is the formation of a megakaryocyte. Promegakaryocyte, basophil megakaryocyte, granular megakaryocyte and mature megakaryocyte from the megakaryoblast. Formation of the platelet from the megakaryocyte is the third step. Stem cells, the platelets develop from myeloid stem cell that form colony forming unit mega, which in turn develop into megakaryoblast. Megakaryoblast are the first identifiable cells of the thrombopoietic series in the bone marrow. The size is more than 15 microns. The cytoplasm is basophilic and nucleus is multi-lobed. Megakaryocytes grow into three stages: promegakaryocyte, granular megakaryocyte, and major megakaryocyte. Promegakaryocytes are bigger than the megakaryoblast, size more than 20 microns. Cytoplasm is basophilic and contains few azurophilic granules around the centrosome. The nucleus is horseshoe shaped, so this is also called as basophilic megakaryocyte. Granular megakaryocytes are big size, having size between 25 to 50 microns. Cytoplasm is azurophilic and contains numerous azurophilic granules around the centrosome. The nucleus is irregular or it can be horseshoe shaped. Mature megakaryocytes are the largest in the bone marrow. The characteristic features are they are polypoid bone marrow cells. Poly, ploidy means poly, ploidy means DNA content. Diploidy means double amount of the DNA. Polyploidy means increased amount of DNA in the nucleus. Megakaryocytes has a large nucleus which is polyploid. The cells are still bigger in size, more than 22 up to 50 microns. Cytoplasm contains numerous granules of different kinds. There are four types of granulocytes which have been described in megakaryocytes: alpha granules, dense granules, lysosomal granules, and myeloperoxidase granules. Most of the proteins and granules of megakaryocytes determine the characteristics of platelets. When the need for platelet increases, megakaryocytes increases in size, number, and ploidy, and the opposite effect occurs when demand decreases. Granules are present around the centrosome. The nucleus is reduced in size. Megakaryotes from platelets by pinching off the bits of cytoplasm and extruding them into circulation. On an average, each megakaryocyte produces around 1000 to 3000 platelets. Normally, platelet count per day is about 35,000 to 45,000 per microliter of the blood. So this diagram showing the different stages of thrombopoiesis. Okay, so from the hemopoietic stem cells, they mm, go into the CFU mega Mg lineages. Then they form megakaryoblast, megakaryocyte platelets, and they pinched off from the megakaryocyte to form platelets. The production and release of platelets from bone marrow remains normally uh, constant. The production of platelets is enhanced by removal of platelets from the blood, that is thrombocytopheresis, and decreased by uh, transfusion of platelets. So this indicates that feedback regulatory mechanism exists the platelet production. Thrombopoietin, interleukin, GM-CSF, they are going to control the thrombopoiesis. Thrombopoietin is a short-lived polypeptide produced mainly by the liver parenchymal cells. To some extent, it is also formed in the kidney. However, the naturally occurring thrombopoietin for medical uses is very less. Therefore, commercial thrombopoietin have been synthesized by recombinant technology for use of thrombocytopenic conditions. Recombinant thrombopoietins have a half-life of 20 to 40 hours. They are produced by E. coli. Thrombopoietin stimulates differentiation and proliferation of megakaryocytes. Interleukins 1, 3, 6, 11 stimulate platelet production. They do not stimulate thrombopoietin release. The GM-CSF is produced by monocytes, T lymphocytes, fibroblasts, and endothelial cells. They are going to stimulate erythropoiesis, granulopoiesis, and also thrombopoiesis. Platelets have a half-life of about 4 days. They survive in circulation for 8 to 12 days. The aged platelets are removed from circulation by reticuloendothelial system. Spleen plays a very important role in the destruction of platelets. Therefore, platelet count increases after splenectomy and decreases in splenomegaly. Platelets are a small anucleate cell fragments adapted to participate in hemostasis. By their membrane properties, they adhere to damaged vessels and aggregate with each other. Though the cells are small, platelets have well developed cellular structures. They have highly developed cytoskeletal system suited for their functions. They have a specialized canalicular system. They have developed membrane systems. When activated, they change their shape due to the change in the activity of membrane structure and cytoskeleton. So this helps in the release of chemicals from its granules. They contain extensive microtubule and microfilaments and numerous granules. Frequently, they change their shape and with a very long and thin processes extending out from their bodies, which are called as philopodia. So this is the diagram of a platelet, okay, so which is showing cytoskeletal system, the different granules, okay, and the dense bodies, the deep canalicular system, open canalicular system, and the glycogen molecules. Platelets are small granulated spherical or oval bodies having diameter ranging from 1.5 to 3 microns. The size of platelets is approximately one third or one fourth of the red cells. However, it is considerable variation in size of platelets even in the same individual. Few platelets may have a diameter more than half the diameter of red cells, that is 4 microns. Cell membrane is covered by exterior glycocalyx coat that consists of glycoproteins including glycoprotein receptors, glycolipids, and mucopolysaccharides. Platelets have a negative charge on their surface due to presence of sialic acid residues attached to the exterior coat. So this prevents resting platelets to attach to each other or to negatively charged endothelial cells. The cell membranes are trilamellar unit consisting of a bilayer of phospholipids in which cholesterol, glycolipids, glycoproteins are embedded. Glycoproteins aid to prevent adherence of platelets to the normal vascular endothelium. However, glycoprotein receptors help in adhesion and aggregation of platelets. Platelets have a receptor on their cell membrane for collagen, ADP, von Willebrand factor, and fibrinogen. The membrane contains integral membrane glycoproteins, which may play an important role in hemostasis. Important platelet membrane glycoproteins and their functions as follows. Glycoprotein 1b9 and V. This complex constitutively active receptor that mediates von Willebrand factor dependent addition of platelets to subendothelial collagen. Glycoprotein 2b3A on activation serves to bind fibrinogen and thus mediates aggregation. Also, this is the receptor for von Willebrand factor, fibronectin, and thrombospondin. Glycoprotein 1A and 2A, this is constitutively the active receptor for collagen and mediates platelet adhesion independent of von Willebrand factor. So this diagram showing different granules and their contents. Okay, and whereas the alpha granules contain adhesive proteins like fibrinogen, one relevant factor, fibronectin, thrombospondin, whereas many growth factors like PDGF, TGF beta, fibronectin, platelet factor 4, thrombospondin, and coagulation factors like fibrinogen factor 5 and 11. Whereas dense bodies contains ADP, ATP, serotonin, and calcium. And it is also showing the glycoprotein receptors important glycoprotein 2b, 3a, glycoprotein 1b, 9. The cytoskeletal system of platelets can be broadly divided into membrane and cytoplasmic skeletal system. Membrane cytoskeleton is elongated tetramer of spectrin molecule is present in the cell membrane, so which is connected to the ends of actin filaments that are situated close to the cell membrane and membrane of open canalicular system. Filament 1 interacts with membrane glycoprotein and actin present below the membrane. Filamin 1 also connects these proteins, that is membrane glycoprotein and submembrane actin filaments, to the transmembrane spectrin network, and this provides stability to the membrane and discoid shape of the platelets. The other membrane protein include talin, vinculin, and vimentin. The membrane cytoskeleton helps plays important role in the platelet spreading following their adhesion to the vascular endothelium. Cytoplasmic cytoskeleton. Cytoplasm contains well-developed contractile system which consists of extensive network of microtubules and microfilaments. So there is a submembrane microtubular system consisting of mini microtubules that are arranged beneath the membrane. Microtubules are made up of alpha and beta tubulins. Cytosolic motors like dynein, kinesin filaments are also associated with microtubules. Microtubules provide stability to the membrane and support the discoid shape of the cell. The platelet microfilaments consist of mainly the actin molecules that polymerizes into microfilamentous bundles. So these are also few myosin filaments attached to the actin filaments. Actin and myosin filaments constitute contractile system in the platelets. The microfilament system is not prominent in the resting cells. However, when platelets are activated and they change their shape, microfilament bundles become more extensive. So they form the major contractile system of the cell that helps in the change in the shape of the platelets and discharge their granular content to the exterior through the canalicular system. Cellular system. There are two well-developed cellular systems in the platelet that help in the platelet function: open canalicular system and dense tubular system. Open canalicular system mainly uh, they they are the canalicular system of the platelets open to the exterior. The open canaliculi are extensive invagination of cell membrane deep into the cytoplasm that from the conduits for the discharge of contents of the granules. Presence of numerous canaliculi in the platelet eliminates the dependence of cell for its chemical release solely on the migration of granules to the periphery for their fusion with cell membrane for exocytosis, as the granular movement towards the interior of the cell and fusion of the granules with canalicular membrane facilitates the process of release of chemicals from platelet granules. Thus, open canalicular system enhance the degree and the rate of platelet release. This is the closed system of channels formed by residual endoplasmic reticulum that are less extensive than canalicular system. So this system is found close to the open canalicular system. They sequester the ionized calcium. The membrane of tubular system consists of peroxidase activity and the interior contains calreticulin, a calcium binding protein that helps in calcium accumulation. Release of calcium from dense tubular system facilitates the platelet release. Cytoplasmic matrix contains microfilaments, structured filaments, and microtubules. Interspersed with the matrix are various types of granules and electron dense bodies. Organelles are mainly mitochondria, sometimes Golgi apparatus is found. Platelet contains numerous peroxisomes, mitochondria, lysosomes, and granules. Activation of platelet leads to discharge of contents of granules that facilitates the process of hemostasis. The granules of platelets are of two types: alpha granules and dense granules. Alpha granules, they are abundant in platelets, but 80 to 50 granules are present. About 80 to 50 to 80 granules are present in per platelet. They are about 200 nanometers in diameter. They contain various chemicals. Dense granules are about 3 to 8 dense granules per platelet. They are also called as dense bodies. They have a diameter about 20 to 30 nm. They contain chemicals like serotonin, ADP, calcium, and ATP. Okay. So these are the different constituents or contents of platelet granules. Alpha granules contain von Willebrand factor, thrombospondin, PDGF, PAF, platelet factor 4, fibronectin, fibrinogen, uh, etc. Whereas dense granules contains ADP, calcium, ATP, and pyrophosphate. Platelets have three unique properties: adhesion, aggregation, and activation and release. Platelets easily adhere to the damaged vascular endothelium, so this is called as platelet adhesion. Platelets have a tendency to stick to the exposed collagen of the injured vessel wall. The adhesion is facilitated by von Willebrand factor. However, platelets do not adhere to the normal vessel wall. The adhesion means binding of platelets to non endothelial surfaces, particularly subendothelium, which is uncovered following vascular injury. Von Willebrand factor mediates adhesion of platelets to subendothelium via glycoprotein 1b on the surface of platelets. The platelets not only stick to the injured vessel but also to each other. The property of platelets to stick to each other is called as platelet aggregation. Fibrinogen and glycoprotein 2b3a mainly promote aggregation of platelets to each other. Also, thrombin, ADP, PF promote platelet aggregation. This is the diagram showing the mechanism of platelet aggregation. Note the von Willebrand factor initiates the addition of platelets to the vascular endothelium, whereas the fibrinogen and glycoprotein 2b facilitate aggregation of platelets to each other. Platelets are activated when they bind to collagen to each other. The activation is facilitated by thrombin and ADP. Platelets normally circulate as round to oval disc-like structures. With activation of platelets undergo shape change, that is, they become more spherical and they form pseudopodia. This shape change is due to the reorganization of microtubules and the contraction of the actinomycin of the microfilaments. The activated platelet change their shape and discharge their granular contents. The discharge of the granular content to the exterior through the open canalicula system is called as platelet release. The release reaction or secretion is facilitated by the chemicals released from the platelet granules. Okay, so this is the diagram showing the release mechanism where they are going to release the different substances from alpha and dense granules. In addition to their important role in hemostasis, the platelets serve as many other functions. Uh, One is temporary hemostasis, that is, platelets prevent bleeding from forming plaques at the site of injury, and platelets also promote vasoconstriction by producing serotonin that helps in hemostasis. Second one is blood coagulation. Platelets contribute to the blood coagulation by releasing platelet factor 4 and synthesizing clotting factor 5 and factor 11. Clot retraction. Platelet promote clot retraction, which is essential for the stabilization of the clot. They help in the thrombolysis, as they control fibrinolysis. The platelets phagocytosize smaller molecules like immune complexes and viruses. They help in storage and transport of some of the chemical substances which are related in clotting. And they're also important for vascular growth, like platelets help in the growth of the vascular endothelium by secreting platelet derived growth factor. So this is also produced by macrophages and endothelial cells. So this is synthesized in three forms, that is PDGF-AA, PDGF-BB and PDGF-AB, containing either of the two polypeptide chains A or B. The normal platelet count is around 1.5 to 4 lakhs per cubic millimeter of blood. Thrombocytopenia is defined when platelet count is less than 1.5 lakhs. However, the significant bleeding occurs when platelet count decreases below 50,000. So, therefore, platelet count below 50,000 per cubic mm of blood is called as critical count. Thrombocytopenia occurs in idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura, aplastic anemia, hypersplenism, acute leukemia, and cytotoxic immunotherapy and radiation. About 70% of the platelets released from the bone marrow present in circulation and 30% are sequestered in spleen. Therefore, splenectomy usually causes thrombocytosis, and hypersplenism invariably leads to thrombocytopenia. Thrombocytosis commonly occurs in polycythemia vera, chronic myeloid leukemia, iron deficiency anemia, splenectomy, chronic infection, surgery, and following acute hemorrhage. So these are some of the variations that are the causes for thrombocytosis and thrombocytopenia. Okay, so this is all about in this class. Thank you.